All right. Should be all good here, and we should all be good here. Welcome to the Wrestling Pod. Is where I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and today is the SmackDown summary. Yep, we got the SmackDown summary here. Shout out to Chris Muller for the Bleacher Report, of course, and WrestleMania saw a handful of title changes, but John Cena winning the undisputed WWE Championship to become the top dog of SmackDown was the biggest story coming out of the Premium Live event. Now, though the tag team titles and the Women's United States Championship was absent from WrestleMania, they were well respected here this week, especially the tag team championships, which are our main event tonight, the triple threat TLC tables, ladders, and chairs match between their defending reigning champs, the Street Profits, going up against DIY, do-it-yourself, motherfucker, and of course, the Motor City, the Motor City Machine Guns. What went down on Friday Night SmackDown, you may ask? Well, I'm here to tell you, but before I do, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, comment down below, and turn on those post notifications so you'll never miss a live stream from moi and Mower, wherever. Well, that's no. Lewis, who's at work right now. And to also call that Backlash is in, of course, 2 weeks. Of course, Yes, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, WWE will be, of course, Backlash. WWE will have Backlash, and no, I won't be. I'll be watching it, but I will not be streaming it for you guys. You'll get you'll get the same thing. You'll get the review on the Sunday because it's happening on Saturday. But what went down on SmackDown, you ask? Well, John Cena was here. 3 teams who will compete in the TLC match later in the show were shown arriving to the arena before we got to the WrestleMania recap video. When we went live to the arena, John Cena made his way to the ring to a chorus of boos and cheers. We were in Fort Worth, Texas, ladies and gentlemen. So some fans in Texas were still pro Cena, but most were against him. Before the 17-time champion could say a single word, Randy Orton's music interrupted. Orton gave Cena some advice, but in the end, he told him he needs to have some kids so he could get back to who he really is. Cena said he doesn't have kids because he has spent 25 years raising everyone else's kid, which is true. He made fun of a kid at ringside who flipped him off to prove his point, and this was also kind of an AEW reference because the same thing happened to Chris Jericho. Anyway, they talked for quite some time, and Cena dug his heel in. He mocked the crowd for not being loyal and labeling him as an outcast for not focusing solely on WWE. The Viper challenged him to put the title on the line right there and then. Right there and then. But Cena said no because it should happen at Backlash. Cena ended up tossing the title at Orton to distract him so he could attack. Orton ducked the title shot that Cena, of course, was going to run with hit him with the belt, only for Orton to counter and hit an RKO as he posed with the title to end the segment. And if you noticed a pattern, Cena has been sprawled out on the floor, laid like this. And every time you kind of see that now, you kind of got to think, well, Cena's probably going to win. And I'm going to give you a prediction alert right now. And that prediction alert is, I'm going to make this advanced because it's too easy. I mean, it's the first part of the title ring. John Cena wins the WWE Championship against Randy Orton at Backlash. There's no, that's not a spoiler. Or that's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. But Randy Orton's got the home field advantage, while John Cena has, of course, the champion's advantage. Now, this should be a fun match, and hopefully it should be a fun match. I don't know if it will be better than Cody match, but I know Randy is not going to fucking lay down that easy. Seeing Cena and Orton interact is nothing new. In fact, we have seen them fight more than almost everyone in WWE, but seeing them work with a different dynamic like this was interesting. Orton as the good guy and Cena as the villain, opposed to, of course, the other way around, which it's always been. Orton's the bad guy and Cena's the hero. This made it feel fresh, and this was better than Cena's promo on Raw by a decent margin. Well, considering the fact that Orton snuck out and RKO'd him. What do you expect? Joe Tessitore confirmed the third hour would be commercial-free. Cena made WWE's new ring announcer give him a different introduction once he got to the ring, so Cena stood right in front of him as he gave the new intro. Basically saying, move out of my spotlight. This is mine. Well, Angel and Berto had, of course, a tag team match against the newest members of Friday Night SmackDown and, of course, the former NXT Tag Team Champions, Fraxium. And it sounds like I'm going to say Frag, but Fraxium. Nathan Frazier and Axiom were bound to join the main roster, or be called up to the main roster at some point. Of course, they dropped their titles to Hank and Tank. So, congratulations to Hank and Tank at Stand and Deliver. But Axiom and Nathan Frazier wanted to show off their spots, and they've showcased themselves on SmackDown a bit. Remember, Ray Phoenix had that match with Nathan Frazier, and of course, if you remember, Gunther took on Axiom in Spain when they were doing the European tour. So, of course, Frazier and Axiom took control right away, used their high-flying offense to maintain the upper hand, but Los Garzas turned the tide in their favor as the show cut to a break. We returned right as Frazier got a hot tag and started going on a rampage. Angel hit a drop kick when Frazier was attempting a moonsault to stop his momentum. The crowd eventually chanted, "This is awesome," as the two pairs of aerial artists did what they do best. This was an exciting match that showcased the abilities of all four men well. Almost every single thing they did was executed perfectly. And of course, when you do this, of course, it's choreographed. So everything that they try to do, and maybe it wasn't choreographed beforehand, but again, understand, and this is to Triple H as well, especially creative. When people have visions, all right, somebody should be able to look at you and say, I know what I'm going to do with you. I know exactly what I'm going to, what you're going to become, especially in the wrestling world. Like, they should have a thought out case in point of, like, you're going to be able to do some amazing things, but this is the way you're going to have to do it. Now, if you're not part of that vision, so long, goodbye. But here, the combination of a Spanish Fly and a 450 scored, of course, Nathan Frazier and Axiom the win. In what Joe Tessitore called their SmackDown debut. So it looked like we might be seeing more of the former NXT Tag Champs in the future, which is great. Both of these teams are really great at timing spots, so they look the best that they can. And this is the type of high-flying action you want to see, right? This is the type of shit Dave Meltzer fucking likes, guys. He likes all the fun flips and tricks and moves. He doesn't like the interesting storytelling in this, right? He doesn't care about that. He cares about the performance more than anything. Me, I care slightly about the performance. I want to hear the story. I want to learn what the story is about. And then it gets you thinking, like, holy shit, what's next? This is great, a B+, and I agree. We moved on next to after a break, because we had to take a break. Tiffany Stratton came to the ring to celebrate her win over Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41. It didn't take long for Jade Cargill, though, to interrupt her. Ooh. She said beating Charlotte only put a bigger target on Tiffy's back. And now that she is done with Naomi, she wants a title shot at the Women's Championship. They ended up agreeing to have a match right there and then. So a referee came down and it got started. Now, the title wasn't on the line. I think this was just a regular little match. If the titles were on the line, I don't know. Again, I don't know if the title was on the line. I didn't watch the show. I couldn't watch the show. Or I could. It's just like there's some buffering. Jade Cargill had a slight size and power advantage, but not by much. Tiffany is a strong competitor and made sure to let Jade know she was not going to be pushed around. These two have a small bit of experience working together, but you could see that lack of chemistry in a few places because it's the first time you're having them go really one-on-one with each other. They still made most of what they they did look good, but the things that didn't work stood out a bit. Sometimes when two people are getting used to working together, a lack of smoothness can make things look more competitive, which happened a few times here. Yes. This is why I say this, and I love Chris that mentioned this. When two people are getting used to working together, a lack of smoothness can make things look more competitive. Now, this is why I say the best thing to do is to work with your opponent. Before I go out into the ring, right? If this is the first time that me and this person are going to go head to head with each other, right? This might be my debut. Obviously, if this is my debut match, I want to win, right? But if we're going to do a story, we're going to continue our match later down the road, I want to work alongside that person, right? So I want to be able to learn his style, learn his technique, learn their, weakness and their strengths, and then work together and be like, yo, what if I did this move on you? And what if you did this move on me, right? And we're coming together. When you get two people who haven't worked together or haven't, been in the ring together, this is the type of shit you get. So I advocate for the two wrestlers, Stratton and Jade Cargill, to work together. Maybe you guys haven't worked together before, but here it's better if you do. It's better if you do work together, backstage. Hey, rewatch your match and be like, okay, I seen this. This didn't go well. We can change that. We can make that look better. Because here's the thing. The more times that you work together, the more times you start to wrestle each other, the more chemistry you're going to have. The more build of, okay, I know what your next move is going to be. That's what I like. Stratton almost tripped when she was going for her signature moonsault, but she saved it. Unfortunately for her, Cargill avoided the impact a minute later, though. Naomi had a rundown, hop on top of Jade, and looked like she was fucking having sex with Jade, which looked very, very awkward. But it drew a DQ. So Jade Cargill won by DQ, and this is great to see. But we weren't done yet, as Tiffany, of course, was like, yeah, I'm standing tall, I'm still a champ. She got ran over by a Mack truck. And by a Mack truck, I mean a Jax truck. And by a Jax truck, I think you get the point by now. Nia Jax showed up. Where the fuck has she been? Where the fuck have you been, Nia Jax? Last time we saw you was what, January? Was it January? I forget. I don't know. But Nia Jax coming for that title. Now, I didn't think that would happen. I didn't think Nia Jax would want to get a rematch with Stratton. But if we want to go back to that direction, have Nia Jax and Tiffany go back at it, have them actually have their one-on-one match that really didn't get us anywhere other than, I'm trying to think, where Nia Jax, no. They had a rematch for the title, I think. They had a match for the title, but it ended in shenanigans. So yeah, you know what? You want to run this back? You want to run Nia Jax and Tiffany? Go ahead. Run Nia Jax and Tiffany. I was thinking Naomi would get involved. But I don't like it when there's two triple threat matches or two fatal four ways on the same show. I don't. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't. That pay-per-view fatal four way really, really, really made me hate the idea of fatal four ways to fucking do fatal four ways on a show. And then triple threat matches, same shit. So, this is great to see. Now, I want to read this part right here. Stratton had done a good job playing babyface without suddenly sucking up to the crowd out of nowhere. She's basically the same person she always was, but she is fighting heels instead of faces. It's for the best because she is not the kind of character who should be sucking up to the fans. Exactly. She should be fighting heels. So that's why I said Naomi. Nia Jax, too. She shouldn't be really fighting, these baby faces as much. She's coming off more, she's doing a good job as a baby face now. She comes off better as a heel, which mostly everybody does because playing a heel is easy. You say one bad thing, and everybody can hate you. Look at Donald Trump. Blood is thicker than water, but gold is thicker than blood. Jacob Fatu came out with Solo Sikoa after the break to celebrate his championship. How many fucking commercials were there? Jesus Christ. Anyway, Solo Jacob came out together after a break with the United States Championship win over LA Knight. Sikoa said nobody in his family wanted Fatu in WWE except for him. He took credit for Fatu not only being in WWE, but for his title win too. The champion ripped the microphone away from Solo, disrespecting him basically, and said he did exactly what he said he was going to do by winning, with or without him. So, fall in line, Solo. Fall in line. LA Knight came out and gave him credit for beating him fair in the middle of the ring, but said it won't happen again. Surprisingly, this drew out Drew McIntyre. The former world champion bragged about beating Damian Priest and complained about Orton jumping the line ahead of him for a WWE title shot. So this is where we put McIntyre. Nick Aldis came out and offered to book a match between Knight and McIntyre, with the winner getting a U.S. title match. The crowd loved that idea. An entertaining little segment and a setup of a few potential directions WWE can go with Fatu's title reign. What we heard was very paint by numbers, but all four men made it work. And Solo is not going to be the fourth man in this program because, let's remember, Drew McIntyre mentioned Damian Priest. Right in the back pocket. Fans absolutely love Fatu, and WWE would be wise to play into this, build some more tension between Sikoa before they have a match. And like I have stated before, I said Fatu would win, and I said that Fatu will keep his championship until Solo fucks him over, or until Fatu loses the title, right? Until Fatu loses the title, and the reason Fatu loses the title is because of Solo. Right? So Solo will be the reason he loses the title. And this will be our bloodline breakdown of Fatu and Solo Sikoa for SummerSlam, where Sikoa is the heel and Fatu is the babyface, because everybody loves what Fatu is doing, and I agree. I don't know what's next for Solo. They'll probably take him off of TV, end this entire bloodline bullshit, and bring him back to the street champ. Because that's the best for what WWE should do with him next. But next up, we had a very surprising win here, of course. As we went from the men's U.S. title, we had to go straight into the women's U.S. title when Chelsea Green defended the belt against Zelina Vega. Piper Niven and, of course, Alba Fire were by Green's side, as always. But eventually, the Secret Hervis helped Green gain an unfair advantage before a commercial break, but Zelina fought back and managed to take control after we returned. Now, Nivens and Fire would be sent into the back because they got ejected. Nivens tripped Vega right in front of the ref. Got caught. And then he caught Fire trying to attack her too. So, get ejected. A couple of seconds later, Vega would be able to hit the code red to get the 1-2-3 victory. And new Women's United States Champion, Zelina Vega. Vega escaped the ring before Nivens and Fire could even get to her. She celebrated her first title win in the WWE in the aisle. This was a surprising title change, but that is what makes it good. If everything was predictable, it would be boring. And again, I want to go back to a time when not everybody knew it. Like this type of shit, we didn't know. Oh, Zelina Vega was going to win the United States. Eventually, if they did this match at Backlash, eventually Zelina Vega would have probably won. It would have been my prediction. But here, I liked it. I really liked it. Thank God it wasn't against fucking Mia Yim again for like the third fucking time, or the 500th time, I should say. Now, this was a very long match, but they worked together to make every minute count. This was graded a B. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. This was fucking good. But I want to keep this in the back pocket too. If everything was predictable, it would be boring. And it's true, it would be boring. But again, I'm here to make predictions, whether I'm right or wrong. So, get over yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, the return of Aleister Black. The Miz came out and complained about how nobody respects him. Wait, you mean Miz, do you mean yourself or do you mean Carmelo Hayes? I'm just asking. He said Rey Mysterio went to somebody he barely knows for help instead of him. Orton did the same thing. He said he is sick of seeing people get opportunities when he isn't. The lights went out. And of course, Aleister Black arrived with his old NXT entrance that brought him straight up from the floor. Aleister Black would get chants like "Welcome back" and Tony fumbled, because he fucking did. As Black stood up and took off his jacket, he nailed The Miz with the Black Mass without saying a word, and sat in the ring as his music began to play. This was as simple as it needed to be, as it gets for a return segment as well, but it worked because Black's character has never been known as a big talker. If The Miz is his first ideal rival in the WWE, Black will likely score an easy win next week or at Backlash. So again, if the match does happen and gets booked for Backlash, like so, we can give Aleister Black that win right there. That'd be another prediction alert. But if it's happening, and again, it's happening next week. I believe it's happening next week. I'd have to look it up. I think it is if I read a report about it or saw it. So, yeah, Black will win. Aleister Black will beat The Miz. Black no longer had makeup around his eyes, so it doesn't look like WWE will continue that storyline from his last run. We finally got, of course, to LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. After all this made the match earlier, the third hour of SmackDown kicked off with, of course, LA Knight battling McIntyre for a shot at Fatu's title. The bell rang as soon as we returned from a break, but they were slow to lock up. McIntyre had a size advantage, because he's fucking tall as shit. And used it to take Knight down, and bragged about it, like he would. Knight took him down and bragged right after, a moment later, which only angered the Scottish psychopath. The great thing about Knight is he's the kind of worker who can go at any pace and make it work. He can match speed with high flyers. He can play the power game with guys like McIntyre. It allows him to work at any pace, which is a valuable skill. They worked as a methodical match. Methodical, right? Yeah. They worked a methodical match and made sure the big moments and sequences stood out. Because, of course, that's what McIntyre really cares about. But there were moments when it felt like they could have used to move a bit quicker to keep the crowd's high energy. Solo Sikoa showed up, hit LA Knight with a Samoan spike while the ref was distracted. McIntyre looked mad that he was about to be helped by someone he saw as an enemy. But he was unable to take advantage of the moment because Priest showed up to pull him out of the ring and beat him up. So the Archer of Infamy put him through the announce table with a South of Heaven chokeslam. Knight got in his face for causing a DQ, but both men were taken down by Fatu out of nowhere. The segment ended with Fatu standing tall. Having multiple DQ finishes on the same show is never ideal, but this was clearly done to set up a multi-man match for the US title, so we should find out next week what will happen at Backlash, and I agree. Again, I hate DQ finishes. We already saw one with the women's side. We're seeing one here with the fucking men's. Why? Now, this one worked, though. With Tiffany and Jade Cargill, shouldn't have put them up against each other. But here, we set up, the reason they did this here was clearly done to set up a multi-man match. We could be looking at a fatal four-way with Fatu, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest, with Solo probably getting involved and continuing to help out Jacob, even though Jacob's going to get sick and tired of wanting Solo to help him. But I do hope it is a fatal four-way, because that would be big for each man at Backlash. The only problem with that match, I love it, and it's crazy. I love this match to happen at Backlash. The fatal four-way match would be perfect in WWE's eyes, and in my eyes, I see it happening too. There's just one problem. Who eats the pin? Because, remember, LA Knight lost the title to Jacob at WrestleMania. So, LA Knight really can't take the pin. Damian Priest shouldn't have to take the pin because he took the pin to McIntyre at WrestleMania in a big match, in a Sin City Street fight, mind you. Now, the only other person who could really take a pinfall is McIntyre, but do you really want to have a heel, pin McIntyre, a heel? No, right? So, Jacob could easily pin LA Knight, calling back to, I'm going to make sure that never happens again, right? It's going to happen again. You could have him pin Priest, sure, and you could probably set up Fatu and Priest. That would be a nice setup for Money in the Bank, possibly. Or you have him pin LA Knight, McIntyre, and Priest can fuck off elsewhere. Maybe join the Money in the Bank briefcase. But, again, I'm liking the Fatal 4-Way. Bianca Belair revealed in a backstage interview that she was injured and she will be out of action for a little while. Mind you, a little while. Great to be, though, and I agree. I can't wait to see what they set up for Backlash. Hopefully it's a Fatal 4-Way between those four. It'd be nice. Now, we get to basically the match that should have been on the fucking WrestleMania card. And I'm kind of pissed that it wasn't. But we made it to the main event. We're here. Guys, go watch this fucking match. It has everything. It not only had, and also Ciampa doesn't have a beard anymore, but go watch this match on YouTube. It's probably the best fucking triple threat TLC match you're going to see. Modern time. Best triple threat TLC match you're going to see in modern time. Honestly. Like, if you love the Christian and Edge, Dudleys and Hardys, this is, I don't even want to draw a comparison to this, but it almost feels like it's comparable. But, again, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa have had many encounters in recent months. So putting them all in the ring for a high-stake match like this was a great way to end the post-WrestleMania episode of SmackDown. All six men began fighting as soon as the bell rang, but DIY came out ahead in the initial exchange. As they tried to get a ladder, Sabin and Shelley drop-kicked it to knock them down. This match was given a lot of time, and since there was no commercials, because it was commercial-free, it felt even longer. The bar has been high for TLC matches for a long time, but these three teams did an admirable job. There was no standout performer in this one because all six competitors were given everything they had. We saw some creative spots, especially when it came to how chairs were used. Ford even used a fan's prosthetic leg as a weapon. Prosthetic leg. He grabbed it from the front row, prosthetic leg grabbed, and hit motherfuckers with it. Now, if that's not creativity, I don't know what the fuck is. I honestly don't know. Holy fuck. Now, I'm a bit sick, guys. So, yeah, I'm a bit sick. I apologize. But, to use a fan's prosthetic leg as a weapon, huge props. Huge props to creative. Or if that wasn't even creative, who said, hey, we're gonna have somebody with a prosthetic leg, I want you to grab it in the front row. Like, referee probably told Montez Ford, hey, they want you to grab the prosthetic leg. Montez probably just went there and was like, hey, prosthetic leg? Bam! 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 Fucking hit motherfuckers with it. The crowd was electric. It's hard to find a single thing to criticize because everything in this match worked and made everyone look awesome. All three teams had moments when it looked like they would win, but in the end, it was Ford who took both titles down to claim victory. Now, also, do mind you, Ciampa does not have a beard anymore because it's going to be hard to get used to because he hit his chin. I don't know how he hit his chin, but he fucked up his chin. So, Dawkins putting a hanging Ciampa through a table with a spear from the ladder was the spot of the night. And, of course, it's a callback to when Edge speared Hardy in midair. I think that's what the callback. Montez Ford and Angel Dawkins also wore gear that paid tribute to Shawn Michaels, which was a nice touch in Texas. Of course, they were in Fort Worth of, Michaels. Michaels is from San Antonio. So, again, this match was just so fucking good. I'd go watch it if I were you. And this is how you end a WrestleMania show, or WrestleMania after, post-WrestleMania show. This is how you end it. The post-WrestleMania episode of SmackDown outdid Monday Night Raw in both in-ring and storyline development. A handful of potential matches for Backlash were set up. Aleister Black's return might have put his first feud into motion. Los Garzas and Fraxium had put on a fun match. Vega wins her first title in a surprising outcome. Cena and Orton did a great job setting up their upcoming title match for Backlash, which has been confirmed. However, the biggest highlight of the night, and the match to go out of your way to go see, is fucking the Profits DIY and Motor City Machine Guns TLC match. All 6 of these men are highly gifted performers, so it should surprise nobody to find out that they put a great match with a lot of fun spots. In fact, the TLC match we got might have been better than everything we saw at WrestleMania this week in terms of excitement. I don't know about that. Well, actually, maybe that. But the best match of the week capped off what might have been the best episode of SmackDown after WrestleMania in 2025. It felt like every segment mattered and advanced at least one storyline. This was the first time a 3-hour episode of the Blue Brand felt like it used every minute effectively. Graded in A-, of course. And do recall, Monday Night Raw only had 3 matches with a lot of segments to set up some stuff. So hopefully when we come back into Kansas City, of course, yes, that's where Monday Night Raw is going to be, Kansas City, we should be able to get some more matches from the WWE. But until then, we'll just have to continue waiting. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the SmackDown Summary. I will see you guys on Tuesday, 5:30 Eastern, or 5:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube for the Raw review. Enjoy your guys' weekend. Again, also what's set up is the Backlash predictions and a channel announcement. I do have something to announce there, and it will probably be the first thing I announce before going into the predictions. But yeah, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have yourselves a good weekend.